Welcome back, Focus Learners. Listen up, because today we have an incredibly high-stakes, deeply analytical explainer lined up for you. We are literally stepping directly into the examiner's shoes to decode the Cambridge AS and A-Level Accounting 9706 syllabus. Specifically, we're zooming in on the core accounting concepts: business entity, historic cost, money measurement, and going concern. Now, I want to be clear right off the bat. This isn't just a basic review. Consider this your insider masterclass. We're going to look at exactly how to dissect complex questions, master your time allocation, and deploy the kind of critical thinking strategies that Cambridge examiners are absolutely desperate to see. So, let's get right into it.
Here's our strategic roadmap for today's session. We'll start with the 15% secret, move into core concepts defined, tackle the method mark strategy, expose the top 3 examiner traps, and finally look at mastering evaluation.
All right, Section 1, the 15% secret, high stakes in Paper 2.
Okay, so here is the reality check. These concepts, they aren't just introductory theories that you gloss over in week 1 and then completely forget about. No way. The theoretical architecture of these exact concepts fundamentally anchors your entire exam performance. In fact, these specific accounting concepts, business entity, historic cost, money measurement, and going concern, account for a massive 15% of the total marks in Paper 2. Think about that for a second. That is a huge chunk of your final grade, entirely determined by how well you can manipulate and apply these foundational rules to completely unfamiliar contexts. It makes mastering them an absolute non-negotiable priority if you want that top grade.
Moving on to Section 2, Core Concepts Defined, the Foundation.
So Cambridge accounting candidates really must demonstrate absolute mastery of these fundamental principles. And the academic benchmarks here, they require highly logical, structured reasoning. Why? Because the assessment framework always prioritizes analytical depth over superficial breadth. You literally cannot just memorize your way through this. You have to integrate the knowledge. First up, let's look at the business entity concept. This is the bedrock rule, stating that a business is a separate and distinct legal entity from its owners. But look, Cambridge isn't just looking for you to parrot that definition back to them. The syllabus explicitly emphasizes that top-performing students exhibit connected, conceptual understanding here. You've got to demonstrate the causal relationships. How does treating the owner's personal transactions separately actually dictate the entire structure of the financial statements? That's the level you need to be thinking at.
Next, we have the historic cost concept, which dictates that assets are recorded at their original purchase price. But again, we have to look way beyond the basic textbook definition. The theoretical architecture of your exam answers really rests on integrating this concept with other complex syllabus areas, like depreciation or asset valuation. For example, how does historic cost conflict with real-world market values? What happens during inflation? That tension right there, that's exactly where the high tariff marks are hiding.
Then we hit money measurement. This concept states that accounting only records facts that can be expressed in monetary terms. So the absolute crucial point here isn't just knowing what goes in, it's knowing exactly what is left out. Things like employee morale, brand reputation, management expertise, all invisible on the balance sheet. Principal examiner reports consistently highlight that candidates who reference these cross-topic connections and openly discuss these limitations achieve significantly higher marks. It shows you really get the big picture.
Finally, we have the going concern concept. This is the assumption that the business will continue to operate indefinitely. Applying this conceptual framework requires serious, evidence-based reasoning. If you're looking at stimulus material that hints at severe liquidity issues, maybe a massive impending loan repayment, you must use systematic analysis to actively question the going concern assumption. It's never just about reciting the rule. It's all about aggressively applying the concept to the exact data sitting right in front of you.
Let's dive into Section 3, the method mark strategy, procedural framework. And actually, real quick before we solve the practical side of this, if you are finding this breakdown helpful and you want to ensure you never miss a weekly Cambridge Breakthrough strategy, make sure to hit subscribe to Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels at acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on that notification bell. Consistent strategy is how you win this game. Okay, let's get back to the framework.
Knowing the theory is honestly only half the battle. Practical application in Cambridge exams is what actually develops professional skills, and presentation follows incredibly strict conventions. Examiners award method marks for your process, meaning your procedural framework has to be absolutely flawless. To secure those method marks, you need to follow this exact 6-step sequence for complex problems. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. You have to deeply contrast command words, like knowing the massive difference between explain and to what extent.
Step 2. Extract the relevant data from the stimulus materials. Step 3. Select your analytical framework. Step 4. Execute your calculations with crystal clear notation. Step 5. Verify those results against the context. And Step 6. Present it all with correct terminology, proper headings, and appropriate formats. If you skip a step, you're just throwing marks away.
Section 4. Top 3 examiner traps, where candidates lose marks.
All right, looking directly through the examiner's lens at years of past reports, here are the absolute top 3 mistakes you need to spot and avoid. First is the classic trap, using the wrong approach for the wrong context. You might have a brilliant factual answer, but if it doesn't fit the specific scenario, it's useless. Second, forgetting to check format and presentation. Remember, presentation follows strict conventions. Proper headings and clear annotation aren't optional, they are mandatory. Third, and this is the big one, providing generic answers. If your answer isn't specifically tied to the stimulus context given in the exam paper, you are literally leaving marks on the table. Average candidates give textbook definitions. Top-tier candidates synthesize the context.
Listen to this direct alert from the examiners. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. Always define terms before using them in extended responses. This is a massive roadblock for so many students. They just jump right into the argument. To get unstuck here, you need a cognitive strategy. I highly recommend using a memory hack, like creating a custom acronym for the factors affecting these accounting concepts. Nail down your definitions mentally and write them down clearly before you even pick up your pen to write out the rest of your extended response. It frames your whole argument.
And finally, Section 5, Mastering Evaluation Skills, Unlocking Top Bands.
This is it. This is the hardest part of the exam, where you face those high-tariff 9 to 15-mark questions. To unlock the absolute top bands, you must shift away from simply explaining and move into demonstrating evaluative thinking and critical analysis. There is a vast, vast difference between superficial breadth and true evaluative thinking. A superficial approach, it just lists facts in a generic context. It's safe, but it scores low. But the anatomy of a top-scoring candidate looks entirely different. They demonstrate evaluative thinking by actively questioning assumptions, considering totally different perspectives, and, crucially, justifying every single decision with concrete evidence pulled directly from the source text.
Look, evaluation of evidence quality requires you to act like a real-world auditor. You have to actively identify the limitations of the data provided. You need to ask yourself, what assumptions are being made by the business owners in this prompt? Are there alternative interpretations of their financial health that they might be ignoring? And most importantly, what is the effect of these hidden factors on your final conclusion? This right here, this critical questioning, is the core pillar of a flawless, full-mark response.
So I'm leaving you with this final, critical question to ask yourself the very next time you sit down with a past paper. What are the limitations, alternative interpretations, and hidden assumptions in the data you've just extracted? Apply this master framework, use your mental checklists, and keep practicing those past papers. Remember, crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent strategy. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button for AC Exams IGCSE O and A levels at AC_exam_IGCSE. Turn on your notification bell for future exam hacks, and drop a comment below with your target grade so we can hold you to it. I'll see you in the next explainer.